Here we are again with myself and Erica. What we're going to do here is a supine bretzel, and what I'm doing with my right leg is I'm trapping Erica's lower left leg, as a means to isolate her hip flexor by taking her quadriceps out of the equation. With my left arm and her right leg, I'm having her foot on my shoulder, encouraging a little more balance in her pelvis and hips. Because as I push her hip down into extension on the right side, I want to make sure that her other hip, her right side doesn't roll with it, or she doesn't feel any compression in her lower back. So as I direct her hip into flexion on the right, I'm going to direct her hip into extension on the left by pressing down into my right hand towards the floor, and then shifting my weight forward towards her head. I can ask for contractions in either part of this movement, either with her left lower leg or her left hip into her hip flexors, or into her hip extensors with her top leg if I feel like that's a restricted point. And as she begins to loosen up, I might encourage a little more knee flexion on the left leg. Again, to further isolate the hip flexor on the left side, while asking intermittently for contractions in those muscles before going into deeper passive stretches. Give her a break. And we switch sides, just to show you a different angle. Now with Erica's left leg on my right shoulder, I'm directing my attention on her right hip flexion, and see as she goes into flexion, her hip comes up with her on the right side. That's an indication of tightness or shortness on the hip flexor, and in this case on Erica's right side. So she's pointing, indicating where she feels the restriction. I'm going to direct my attention there by pushing her hip into a little more extension and taking the quadriceps out of the equation, which seem pretty loose right now. So I apply pressure downwards towards the floor and in towards her as she gives me a little bit of resistance out to the side and then up towards the ceiling. We relax, and whenever we relax, we direct her into a little more hip extension, emphasizing length in her lower body. I'm going to get her left leg to work a little bit, since it's now the next barrier, keeping us from getting more differentiation in hip extension and hip flexion on both sides of her lower girdle. And ask her to help out, check it out, and look, it's a little different when she goes into flexion. Adding a little extra work there, and then help her up.